right. Hey there, guys. Hello. Welcome back. This is Raised by Nerds, a parenting podcast brought to you by the Dallas Podcast Group. As always, I am your co-host, The Elder. Today, I am rolling solo. I wanted to go ahead and do something really quick. I had a story that I wanted to share. As most parents do, you get to the point where we are in the stage of transitioning our child to potty training. Easier said than done. With my oldest, we found that she was not opposed to potty training. She actually did really well potty training. We would set up a little potty in the restroom and she would say, hey, I'm going to go sit down, go take a pee. Hey, cool. No problem. When it comes to my youngest currently, and I have always heard that boys are harder to get accustomed to potty training. To my understanding, the way I make sense of it, it's because boys have the added mechanics of standing up to pee. And when do you, as the parent, decide, hey, we're going to go from sitting down peeing to now we're going to stand up so we can get the hang of standing up? And there's a whole deal there. You gotta aim. You gotta hold your little wiener up. Being that my firstborn was a girl, I was so accustomed to, okay, we need to go to the restroom. Let's go sit down to go to the potty. And we'll just sit, we'll hang out, we'll watch the tablet, we'll talk, I'll tell you a story. Oh, don't look at me, Dad, I need to concentrate. Okay, hey, I'll leave you alone. We're at the point where not only myself, but within our family, how do we get our son used to when you sit down, as he so quaintly put it, my wee smashed, it's peeing on me. There's so many little intricacies that we have to fix, being that, we have to get him used to peeing sitting down so that he can, retain the concept of, hey, when it's time to go pee, I need to go pee. When it's time to go poop, I need to go poop. And so peeing was one thing. Pooping, it took a long time. And I don't know if it was fear of the drawn out sequence that is pooping. And like I've said before, hey, dude, when you get older, these are going to be your most serene moments that you have with I, jaw feel. You're going to be, on the throne in the office, taking your 30, taking your 45. You might go down a YouTube rabbit hole. You might watch a bunch of Guy Fieri videos on loop. I have no idea. But currently, the situation that we're in, my son is 3, about to turn 4. And he's now accustomed to peeing. He's accustomed to the feeling, the knowing when to go. But I mean, we had to dangle the carrot in front of him. We had to make an incentive. Hey, they make underwear that have Super Mario, that have Sonic, they have Blippi underwear. Do you want to wear those? Don't pee in them because then you're going to pee on Blippi. Don't, hey, you can't go, if you're going to go poop, you got to go poop in the toilet because you can't poop on Mario. Mario doesn't want to get pooped on. It's these small little things. Hey, if you go poop, if you go pee, you'll get some candy, you'll get this, you'll get that. Or there were a bunch of little intricacies with getting this kid to go get used to the idea of potty training and getting him used to using the potty. And at first, he didn't want to use a training seat or like a toddler toilet seat, And even in my head, I'm like, that hole's too small, bro. Like, can his butt fit on that? Will his little butthole, will it make the shot? I don't know. Some of them have pee guards because apparently boys just fucking piss everywhere. Obviously, it's a formative process that parents go through with boys. I mean, my daughter never peed all over the toilet seat, so that wasn't an issue with us, for her anyway. But for now, we're riding the waves. We're seeing how it's going. But the story that I was going to share is that because my son has started potty training and he's gotten a little better about not having to depend on a pull-up in between, remedial travel or between running errands. So if we say, hey, we're going to go to the grocery store, you need to put on a pull-up, or can you go pee before we leave? And then we'll be on our day. And he's been really good so far. But we hit a little snag the other day. I believe it was a Friday or Saturday. Obviously, later in the day, we're running errands. We're starting to wind down. We say, hey, let's go to the pet store. So on this specific day, we say, hey, let's go to specific pet store chain here in town. Luckily, we don't go there a lot. It's like one of the independent chains that's here in town. It's not a Petco or a PetSmart. And so we pop in, we're looking around. Hey, we're looking at the animals. Ooh, look at the fish. Ooh, look at the reptiles. Ooh, look, they have guinea pigs. Ooh, look, they have birds. And I mean, it's business as usual. I'm like, hey, your mom's going to go over here. You and I will go this way and we'll go check out the rest of the store. We get into the aisle that has pet mice, pet hamster, pet guinea pig, etc. supplies. the feet and the wheels. And so I noticed that my son, has gone from like, hey, Dad, look at this. Hey, Dad, look at that. To now he's like, hey, Dad, you hang out over here. Like, I'm going to head out this way and just, scope things out on my own. Which right away I'm like, hey, are you okay? Do you need to go to the restroom? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, all right, but I'm keeping my eyes on him. I'm watching him because something about the situation that's playing out isn't adding up. And he's getting really quiet. He walks, like a few feet away from me. I mean, within the same aisle, and he's looking at one thing, and I'm talking to his mom, but I can hear like these, like this huffing noise behind me. If you know what I mean, if you've ever like caught a kid mid pushing some poop out, you hear like the, and it's not subtle. By no means it's subtle. And I can hear him like just the beginnings of like a, I turned around. I'm like, hey, dude, do you need to go to the restroom? And he looks at me in the face, like dead in the eyes. I'm like, hey, do you need to go to the restroom? I walk up to him real close, so I'm not speaking too loud. I'm like, hey, do you need to go to the restroom? Are you sure? Like, hey, do you need to go to the restroom? And he's like, oh, I don't need to go to the restroom. I'm like, hey, do you need to go to the restroom, dude? And he looks at me in the face, only the face of a kid taking a shit, like that mid-push face where they're like, I'm okay. And I thought, oh my God, we have a code red. Like he has a pull-up on, luckily, but I'm like, we need to get this out before, soils the pull-up because we don't have a backup with this. I didn't come strapped with the backup. Like Wu-Tang.
Throw your shitty drawers in a hamper. Next time, come strapped with a fucking pamper.
I run up to the counter and I say, hey, like, the restroom in the back, is that for everybody? And they're like, yeah, man, here, let me go get it. They're like, hey, Stody, can you open up the restroom for this fucking old dude and his baby? He's like, yeah, man, here, I'm coming. And I'm like, come on, dude, like, hot step it over here, bro. It's literally, it's not that big of a pet store. He's like, hey, what's up, dude? Fucking whatever. I'm like, bro, my son's shitting right now. I need you, please, to open up this door. So he opens up the restroom for us. We step in kind of in a rush, and I'm still trying to be discreet about it. I'm like, hey, thanks. I'm like, hey, dude, the restroom's here. Let's go inside. Looking at the guy like, hey, it's okay. He's got to go pee, kids. And we rush inside, and I'm like, oh my God, dude, please, like, so let's pull your pants down. Let's get that pull up down so that we can get in the toilet and we'll go poop. That way you can poop. And no pun intended, I shit you not. As soon as I get his jeans down, I go to reach to get the pull up down. And I feel like a fucking softball is protruding from my kid's butt. And I'm like, oh no, like, we don't have a backup. I'm like, hey, did you poop? And my son proceeds to finish passing his movement. And he's like, yeah, I pooped. I don't have to poop no more. I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to do? The one time I didn't think of it. I thought, yeah, he said he went pee before we left and everything's good. I didn't think he was going to take a shit at the fucking pet store. I didn't think he was going to take a shit in his pull-up because he's been so good about like, no, pull-ups are only, they're just in case. It never occurred that I was like, dude, are you going to poop? And he pooped and he was done. And it was just this fucking fist of a dump that he took. And I now have it like palmed in my hand. I mean, in the pull-up, but I'm like, where do I put this? How do I dispose of this fucking evidence, dude? Like, what do I do? Do I put the pull-up in my pocket? I was panicking. It was a fucking life or death. His mom was outside. She didn't know what the fuck was going on, She was just looking around. But obviously, if it was going to take us more than like 15 minutes to get squared away, it probably was going to be a little suspicious at that point. So I'm like, okay, look, dude, here's what we're going to do. And they had whole rolls of paper towels. Tear off some paper towel, put it on the ground and said, I need you to take off your shoes. Luckily, he's wearing Crocs. I'm like, take off your shoes. We're going to take off your pants. Now, like a fucking surgeon, have to remove this pull-up. I drop his shit into the toilet. Bye-bye. And I flush it. For a second, I was like, do I flush the pull-up and just go about my fucking day, act like nothing happened? No, can't. So the only logical thing I really can do, I wrap up the pull-up as fucking tightly as I can, like a fucking blunt. I wrapped this fucking thing. I then proceeded to get a paper towel, and I wrapped it real fucking tight. And I threw it in a bag that they had there. I tied it up within itself. I threw it in, tied it all the way at the bottom, and then just folded it up within itself and tied it as many times as I could with all the slack that bag was willing to give me. And then I just threw the bag away. But I was still left with my son now having mud butt. And I'm like thinking on my feet, what do? I have no wipies here. Their toilet paper fucking sucks. I'm like, okay, look, man, this is probably going to be uncomfortable, but put your pants on. You're just going to have to go with shit on your butt. Not really. I then proceeded to wet paper towels, and I wiped my son as best I can, as best as I could get in comparison to like a bidet. Cleaned him out. And so we disposed of the paper towels that were used to wipe his butt. We washed our hands. I said, look, dude, we don't have any more pull-ups. So you have to wait until we go to Walmart. Luckily, Walmart was down the road. It's about fucking a hop and a skip away. I said, please, Walmart is down the road. Can you sit until we get to Walmart so that I can buy you some pull-ups and then put them on you? He's like, yeah, okay. Can I get a toy? And I'm like, no, you don't get a fucking toy. We got to get pull-ups right now, dude. You're not wearing underwear. And he's like, yeah, I know. That's funny. I'm like, no, it's not funny. We have one fucking mission right now, dude. I'm like, we're behind enemy lines. We got to get to that fucking Walmart. We got to get to our designated landing fucking zone. And we got to get the fuck out of here, okay? It then became like Saving Private Ryan. We were saving fucking Ryan's privates that day, dude. And so the deed was done. Sauce. We left the restroom. His mom was paying. I was like, oh yeah, everything's fine. I looked him in his eyes. He looked me in the eyes. And I was like, you don't fucking say nothing. You shut your mouth. And he's like, hey mom, turtles, they go buck, buck, buck. Like any kid trying to, divert the situation. We get to Walmart. At this point, we get to the kids aisle. I'm like, I'm going to get him a small pack of pull-ups. His mom's like, don't we have any? I'm like, nah, I think we're running out. We might need some. Oh, I cracked that fucking pack open. I slapped him on him. And I was like, we made it, soldier. Fuck out of here. I mean, on the way, I explained what happened. I was like, hey, like, your son took a shit in the small pets fucking department over there, so I had to get him a pull-up because we didn't have an extra one. Hey, everything turned out okay. But so far, that has been the one major setback that we've had, or the one little incident, if you want to call it, during his whole journey of potty training. But anyway, that's my story. Hopefully you get some laughs from it. Hopefully you can relate. That being said, I am the Elder. Thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you guys are enjoying the show so far, and we will talk to you soon.